welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Hallie and I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so excited for today's video. I feel like it's gonna be so much fun. For the month of October, I'm gonna be doing something a little bit different. I think most of the videos that I have planned out for this month are 24-hour reading challenges because this month my kids have fall break. So I'm going to be doing mostly 24-hour reading challenges because I can do those on the days that Mark is off from work and he's here to help me out with the kids. I was planning out the books that I want to do for this reading challenge and I was thinking to myself, oh my god, I'm so excited to read these. I feel like so many of these are going to be 5 stars. And then I got the bright idea. I've always wanted to do one of the videos where it's like, how many 5 stars can I find in this video? But I've just never done it. And so I was like, oh my god, why don't I do it but 24-hour challenge version? So today we're going to be seeing how many 5 stars I can find in the next 24 hours. The lineup of books that I have is so good, you guys. I swear if all of these are not 5 stars, I'm going to be so surprised. Like I really genuinely think deep down in my soul that these are all going to be 5 stars. So I'm so excited to tell you guys what books I have picked out for today's video. But before we get into that, I want to really quickly thank the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. If you don't already know what Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives with thousands of classes led by industry professionals across film, illustration, design, productivity, and so much more. Their learning paths are hand-picked classes that build on one another and are available in a range of experience levels from beginner to advanced. There are so many categories to choose from when looking for a class, like creative freelancing, software like Procreate and Canva, and even interior design, which is actually the topic of the class that I just finished. The class that I took is by Anna Marcoux, and it is called Home Interior Design for Introverts. I don't know if you can tell that I just moved and all of my belongings are currently still all on the floor with no design to them at all. I have not even gotten that far. And 2, I am very much an introvert. I am quite literally almost always at home. So when I saw this class, I was so excited because I'm currently in the process of trying to design my room. The class starts off by providing a free questionnaire worksheet called How Introverted Are You?, which then leads to a personalized home suggestion plan tailored to reflect your unique level of introversion. So the baseline question that this class aims to answer is, how do you design a house for under stimulation? I was so excited to learn more about this because I love colors and patterns and decorations, but at the same time I also do have ADHD and mental health issues, and alongside that I really struggle with overstimulation as a mom as well. The main points we went over in the class were how to design a space that will 1. Support and enhance your physical and emotional well-being, 2. Respect your need for solitude, 3. Ignite your creativity, and 4. Balance sensory inputs with elements that soothe your senses. So if you're interested in joining Skillshare as well, the first 500 people to click the link in my description box will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Everything that you need is down in my description box below. I highly recommend checking them out. I truly feel like they have something for everybody. Again, make sure to click the link in my description box. Only the first 500 people to click that link will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Get started today. And thank you again so much to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Moving right along, we are going to talk about the books that I have lined up for today's video. I am so excited. Starting off so strong, The Wingman by Stephanie Archer. If you watched my October TBR, you heard me absolutely yap on about this book and this series. This is the 3rd book in the Vancouver Storm series. It is a hockey romance series set in Canada. So far, the first 2 books in this series have both been 5 stars, and I'm not even gonna lie, I think I'm like 60 or 70% through this on my Kindle because I did actually download it as soon as it came out. I just couldn't wait. Okay, I was so excited. So I feel like I can tell you with certainty that I think that this is going to be a 5 star because I'm so far into it already. Like something so bad would have to happen within the last 30% of the book for me to not rate this 5 stars because I'm having such a good time. I don't know what it is about this series, but it is just perfection to me. So first book, The Wingman by Stephanie Archer. The next book that I have is Beach Read by Emily Henry. First of all, can we take a moment for this beautiful deluxe edition? She's gorgeous, and this is really helping me solve my dilemma of wanting all of Emily Henry's books to be hardcover whenever I get bookshelves. It's just so good. I really think that this is going to be 5 stars. Both of the Emily Henry books that I've read so far, Funny Story and Happy Place. Funny Story was a 5 star, Happy Place is a 6 star read for me. I mean, it was like so good. And from what I have heard about this, first of all, it's everyone's favorite Emily Henry book. I feel like there's such a minority of people that don't like this book that I feel like my chances of absolutely loving this are so high. And let me just show you the one quote that I know is from this book, which already just gives me butterflies. Like, out of context, it gives me butterflies. I feel overwhelmed that you exist. Are you kidding me? Oh my god, I am so excited to get into this book. I absolutely think that this has very high potential to be 5 stars. The next book that I have on my list is Throne of Glass. I actually have started this one as well, but I only made it, I think, like less than 100 pages in. I feel like this has potential to be 5 stars for me, which I feel like could be controversial to people because so many people say the first 3 books in the series aren't even that good, but then when you get to like the 4th and beyond, you're like way more attached to the series. However, people also said that about the first book in the ACOTAR series, and I loved that book, and then from there it just like got even better, and I can't even comprehend how it just kept getting better. And then moving on to Throne of Glass, people say that Throne of Glass is even better than the ACOTAR series, which I again just cannot comprehend something being better than the ACOTAR series, because as of right now that is like my favorite fantasy series I have read. Honestly, the Nightborn duet, Serpent and the Leaves Tonight and the Ashes of the Starker's King, close second. So good. But I'm so excited to start this. I feel like the premise for this book, because there's like trials and games in it, I feel like that's definitely something that I love reading about in fantasy. When there's some type of like games or trials or deadly something going on, I feel like I tend to absolutely eat that up. So I feel like this has very high potential to be a 5 star. Sarah J Maas books always have a way of ending on an insane cliffhanger, so I am definitely expecting that from this book, especially because this is the first in such a long series. I feel like it only makes sense that she would start it off with an ending some type of way, but who knows? Honestly, I'm just so excited to finish this one. I definitely think it has potential to be a 5 star though. Lastly, I have This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal El Mater. I'm so sorry if I'm saying that incorrectly, but it is by her and Max Gladstone. This is actually a book that one of you guys recommended me in my comments, and the premise for this book sounds so interesting. I'm very excited to read this. I do like that it's a short little novella, because in most of my other 24-hour reading challenges, I feel like I'm typically able to finish 3 books. So I feel like this is definitely doable because I'm already almost done with this one. I think I only have like 3 or 4 hours left in this book on my Kindle. And then this obviously is a really short novella. So then we're just left with Throne of Glass and Beach Read. So I don't know, we'll see. Maybe I'll end up listening to Throne of Glass while I do other things too. I just don't know. Last time I was listening to the audiobook, I was working on my reading journal. Maybe it's because I was doing something like super creative and cutting things out and stuff, but I kept like daydreaming about my reading journal and designs that I was doing and lists that I was making, and then I would keep having to like rewind the audiobook because I was missing parts. So maybe if I'm doing something a little bit more mindless, then I could listen to it, or like, I don't know, we'll see. But these are the books that I have picked out for today's video. I'm so excited. Let's see how many of them will be 5 stars. Starting with The Wingman by Stephanie Archer. So I do have the physical copy of this, but I am in fact going to finish it on my Kindle. Let me open it up and see exactly how much I even have left in this. Okay, so I have 3 minutes and 30 seconds left in the book on my Kindle. It is currently 10:04, and for all the 24-hour reading challenges that I'm going to do this month, I am going to be doing 2 12-hour days. If you want to see me do a 24 hours straight, I just did that for the first time ever last month, and I probably will not be doing 24 hours straight again for a long time because it is so hard. It took so much out of me. I just like am not built for that. Like, I need sleep. So I am in fact going to be doing 2 12-hour days. I'm going to be recording today and tomorrow. I probably will end up having to take off a few hours of tomorrow and move them to Sunday because it is Mark's birthday weekend, and we're going to be doing a little hangout with friends tomorrow night. So depending on how early I'm able to start tomorrow, I might have to like take some hours off and finish Sunday, but you get the gist. We're gonna be together all weekend. So I'm going to go ahead and start a 12-hour timer. It is 10:05, so we should be finishing up at 10:05 tonight. Let's get to reading. Hello, I have a little bit of an update. It has been almost exactly 4 hours. We have 8 minutes and no, we have 8 hours and 4 minutes left on the timer for today. So it ended up taking me like almost 4 hours to finish the last half of The Wingman. I already knew we were starting off this video with a 5-star. This series, I was thinking about it while I was reading it, like why are they all 5 stars? First of all, let me preface this by saying this series is pretty spicy. Like if you don't like spice, you probably will not like these as much as I like them. Like you might still like them, but I'm a spice girly, okay? I can't help what I like. I like the spice, okay? But on the same coin, on the same, is that what people say? On the same hand, on the other hand, I don't know. Even though I like spice, for me to love a book, it has to have equally like either a good storyline or something like emotionally, just something along with the spice. Like I can't fully be entertained by a book that's just spice because then when it's too much, it's like, okay, I'm bored. You know, it has to be like meaningful by the time you get to the spice because it's like, wow, there's so much emotionally that's going into this right now. So anyway, the spice once again in this book, 10 out of 10, amazing. But even beyond that, I think the reason I love this series so much is because Stephanie Archer just knows how to write a man who is so down bad for the female main character. Like I think in all the books, it's he falls first and he falls so hard and he's literally just like obsessed. Like if you want to read about a man who is obsessed with his girl, read this series. I'm telling you, Stephanie Archer writes it so good. And the banter in this was so cute. It's so cute because these two, like I said, it's friends to lovers, and so they have been like longtime best friends, and one of their favorite things is this like fantasy book. They like originally kind of bonded over their love for this fantasy series called The Northern Sword, which Stephanie Archer has said is based off of Throne of Glass, so I think that's just like so cute. But throughout this whole book, it's like so cute because they're both just like such big fans of fantasy romance and like their banter back and forth. They're very sarcastic with each other. They joke around with each other all the time. It was so cute. It was such a good time. I cannot wait for the next book because I think the next book, the two characters that it's gonna follow, they're not like, I mean, it's like enemies to lovers, but it's more like loathe to lovers, I guess you could say. I don't know. I'm so excited for it, but we officially have our first 5-star read of the video. I'm not surprised. I literally knew this was gonna be 5 stars. Like there was no way. And it's not even like, sorry, I'm also eating nuts because I'm hungry, and nuts have been my newest obsession, just like salted nuts. Anyway, no one cares about nuts right now. That was amazing. I'm not surprised. It's not even like I was like super emotional or like deeply affected. It's just such a good time. Like I just have such a good time reading her books, and I'm very much about the vibes, you know? And the vibes were there. The vibes were 5-star. So I'm kind of conflicted as to what I want to read next because I did just have such a good time reading a romance that part of me wants to start Beach Read by Emily Henry, but then I'm like, maybe I shouldn't go from like a silly, spicy rom-com hockey romance to like a deeply emotional Emily Henry. So then I'm going between Throne of Glass and This Is How You Lose the Time War, and I kind of feel like I want to get into Throne of Glass. I feel like that is going to be the move. I need to look on my Audible and see where I was in the audiobook, and then I think I'm gonna read Throne of Glass next. So I'm so excited to finish this one out. Like I said, I already got like 100 pages into this one. If you don't know, I'll really quickly read the synopsis for this book. It says, in a land without magic, an assassin is summoned to the castle. She has no love for the vicious king who rules from his throne of glass, but she has not come to kill him. She has come to win her freedom. If she defeats 23 murderers, thieves, and warriors in a competition, she will be released from prison to serve as the king's champion. Her name is Selena Sardothian. I'm so excited for this. I have such high hopes for this. I feel like I've yapped about this nonstop about how I think I will love it. So I'm going to go ahead and get started so that we don't waste any more time on the timer. We have 7 hours and 29 minutes left on the timer. It is 2:05 p.m. right now. So I feel like we can get really far into this book, if not almost all the way done by tonight. So let's get started on to book 2. I have officially made it to page 217. I'm on chapter 29. I have not updated in honestly like a few hours because I feel like the entire first half of the book is really just like set up, which makes sense. Like it's the first book in a long series. So it is already 6:22 p.m. We have 3 hours and 42 minutes left for today. I honestly feel like I could maybe possibly finish this tonight. It's so interesting because like I really wanted to go into this completely blind, and so I've seen the mention of like certain characters' names on TikTok before, and so it's so funny like seeing the names pop up in the book and I'm like, oh my god, that's who it is, you know? Super interesting so far. So far it seems like there's 3 main characters in this book. Obviously Selena, King or Prince Dorian. He's not king, he's just a prince. He's Prince Dorian, and then there is Kale Westfall, who's like the leader of the King's Guard, I think. But yeah, basically Kale Westfall is put in charge of making sure that Selena doesn't escape while she is there competing in the trials, obviously because she's like a super deadly assassin. And then there is Prince Dorian, who obviously is the prince. So that's basically what we have been following. I feel like up until the last like 2 to 3 chapters, nothing crazy has happened, but the past few chapters there has definitely been some things laid to like lay a foundation for some crazy stuff to happen. And I know that Sarah J Maas is known for like the last 100 pages ish of her books just being chaos and like so much happening and then there being a crazy cliffhanger. So I definitely am sensing that a lot of stuff is being kind of laid out to kind of set up for that for the end of the book. Yeah, I really feel like as soon as I finish this, I'm gonna want to go into the next book for sure. And definitely depending on how it ends, I feel like it could be a 5-star. Right now, just not enough has happened for me to like be thinking, oh, this is gonna be a 5-star, just because it's been a lot of setup. But that's not to say that it's boring at all. Like the story is very much still captivating. I love the world that we're set in, and it's also just so interesting because like coming from ACOTAR, where it's like we have the Fae realm, we have magic, you know, all this stuff. In this world there used to be Fae, but then like magic was outlawed and then all of the Fae like disappeared from the realm and all the magic disappeared from the realm. So it's very interesting, and I think I've heard people say before that like Sarah J Maas's worlds, like Throne of Glass, ACOTAR, and Crescent City are somehow interconnected. Like people say it's like the book lovers version of the Avengers multiverse or something, where like everything is kind of interconnected, but I don't really know. I haven't connected those dots yet as to like how it could possibly be connected to ACOTAR. Maybe it's just because I'm obviously still in the first book. Like maybe that doesn't kind of pop up until way later in the series. I don't know. But yeah, that's why I haven't really updated much, because not much has happened. I'm just like sitting here having the time of my life. I have literally been just sitting in my bed for the last 4 hours reading. Marky took the kids to my aunt's house to go swimming and have a fun little day. So it's been nice and quiet in the house and just relaxing, honestly, just like a super cozy little night. So I am going to sit here and read. I probably won't update again until I'm on the last like 50 to 75 pages of the book, because I feel like that's when like obviously something might be happening. If something does happen before that though, I will make sure to check in with you guys. But I just feel like after reading so many Sarah J Maas books, I can kind of now when I'm reading kind of like try and pick up the hints, and I don't know, I feel like I can just kind of have a better feel for like what the pacing of the book is gonna be. And I feel like it's honestly reminding me so much of the first book of ACOTAR, not like plot wise, but like it's reminding me of the first book in ACOTAR in the way that like the entire first book of the ACOTAR series as well was super entertaining, but like nothing really too crazy happened. But like looking back on it, knowing everything else that happens after that, you can definitely see like the groundwork that was laid. Like I want to go back and reread the ACOTAR series start to finish so bad, but I feel like I'm sensing that in this one too. Like there's just so much that's being laid for the rest of the series. I feel like I'm gonna look back and be able to like just notice things that were said or like done in this book that I didn't pay attention to the first time around once I get like later details revealed, if that makes sense. So I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I am going to keep reading. I don't want to waste any time on the timer. Like I said, I have 3 hours and 37 minutes left today. I'm over halfway, so I really feel like I can finish this. I feel like I've been reading this so fast. It's just like so easy. I love Sarah J Maas's writing because while there's like a lot of detail and world building and plot, it's not confusing. Like, I don't know. I just love it. So I'm having a great time. I am going to sit and read some more. So it's 10:04. I just finished Throne of Glass with literally like a minute left on my timer. That last like hour and a half, 2 hours of reading, I was so tired. I ended up putting on the audiobook and reading alongside the audiobook because I was literally daydreaming like every other sentence. I could not pay attention. So that's a little hack if you are having a hard time paying attention. I'm literally so tired. I just want to wash my face and go to sleep. This was so much different than I expected it to be. Unfortunately, I don't think it's a 5-star. Not that it was bad. Like, it's still like a 4.5, I think is what I'm gonna rate it. I was going between 4.5 and 4.75, but I think I'm just gonna go with 4.5 because it was really, really good. I mean, the amount of like setup that was done. That's my timer. All the information that you're given without it necessarily feeling like boring and like boring and like info dumpy, you know, like it was not like that at all. It was very entertaining, and I don't know if this is because I went to it blind, but again, like it was just very different than what I expected. I don't know if I'm drawing too many comparisons, but I feel like it's so similar to the first book of ACOTAR, like vibes wise. Does that make sense if you have read both? Anyway, also super side note, well, okay, if you want to go into Throne of Glass and you haven't read it and you want to go into like completely blind, maybe like skip the next minute or so. I was not expecting for there to be like any romance in this, and not to say that there was romance necessarily, but like I was expecting 0%. Tell me why. Like I was telling you about, I feel like this could maybe be a spoiler depending on what you consider a spoiler. So I've warned you now, so don't be mad at me. I feel like how I was telling you that there's like the 3 main characters. There's Selena Sardothian, there is Prince Dorian, and then there is Kale Westfall. Is it a love triangle, or am I just reading like way too far into things? Like first it's like Kale and Selena meet, and immediately, I don't know if this is just because I love romance, I'm immediately reading into it. And I'm like, okay, is this gonna be her love interest? Are they gonna end up being a thing? Whatever. They kind of like get along really well. But then you get a little farther and you're like, okay, maybe they're just friends. But then it's like, are they? No, they're just friends. But then it's like, you know, okay, maybe something will happen with Dorian. But then it's like, he's the king. Like, is that really gonna happen? But then it's like, oh my god, I think it is. But then you kind of like go back and forth, and I just feel so bad for Kale. I feel like he deserved more. But then at the same time, like the way it ends, that was like sad, but also not too sad because he didn't seem that sad. I don't know what I'm trying to say, honestly, but that was a whole, you know, different part of the story that I was not expecting. 4.5 stars. Definitely very close to a 5-star. I don't know what necessarily would have made it a 5-star. I think it's, again, just because it's like more of a setup book. Like you could just tell that this is a first book in a series, so it had to like lay a lot of groundwork. I will say, even though it doesn't end on like a crazy cliffhanger like most other Sarah J. Maas books, again, that's like the vibes of the first book though. Like it wasn't really a huge cliffhanger, but then after you read the second book, you're like, you know, so I'm wondering if my opinion on this book will change after I've read like the next few books. So I don't know, that kind of makes me want to like go into Crown of Midnight just so I can see like what's going on. But anyway, I have finished the 12 hours for today. It's already 10:08, and like I said, tomorrow night we're doing like some birthday things for Marky. So I originally wanted to get up at like 5 tomorrow morning to try and start the 12 hours so I could like be done at 5. However, it's already so late that I don't know if that's realistic. So sometimes I randomly wake up at like 5 or 6 and I'm full of energy and I can't go back to sleep. So if that happens, I will just gonna leave my camera right next to my bed, and then I will just wake up and immediately start a timer and start reading like on my Kindle or something. Oh, but then the issue is none of the books that I had picked for this video are on Kindle Unlimited. So then it's like, should I just start a different book? I do need to read Queen of Nothing. I think I'm on The Wicked King. I think that's the 3rd book, so maybe I could read that. That's on Kindle Unlimited. I really think that that'll be a 5-star too. The first 2 books in the Cruel Prince trilogy have both been 5 stars for me, so I'm like, it would just make sense for that to be a 5-star also. So I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I think I actually just need to go to sleep and then I'll figure it out in the morning because I'm so tired. That was really good though. I'm so excited to like finally be through the first book. I feel like now that I've officially finished the first book in the series, like now I'm officially in the Throne of Glass series. I didn't feel like I was in it until it was done, and now it's done. So now I'm in it. Oh my god, I'm so tired. Okay, well, maybe I'll have more to say tomorrow when my brain is actually working, but for now, day 1 complete. 2 books. 1 has been a 5-star so far. 50% success rate. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. It is the next morning. Ignore my hair. I put oil in it and have slicked her down for the day. That's what's going on here. I also just really don't feel like putting on makeup today, so I'm not going to. So I woke up and started my timer at 8:48 this morning, a lot later than what I was planning, but it's fine. So far this morning has really not gone to plan. Let me explain. So I have 9 hours and 41 seconds left on my timer. When I woke up, I immediately started This Is How You Lose the Time War, and I made it 20 pages in, and it probably took me 35 minutes, maybe 40 minutes to get 20 pages in because it was like confusing and not in the way that you're thinking. Like I think I ended up setting it down because I didn't think that I was awake enough to like read this. Like I could have gotten through it, but I think I would have finished the book and been like, huh, what did I just read actually? So I ended up putting this down, and I don't know why I'm like feeling so tired. Like last night whenever I was talking, I'm pretty sure I was like not even coherent because I was so tired. I went to sleep like right after that. I stopped recording. I downloaded Heartstopper on my Kindle because it was available on Libby, so I was like, that kind of sounds cute and cozy, and I've never read a graphic novel before, so I felt like that would be something cute to read before bed. That's like not part of this video. I'm just rambling, honestly. Went straight to sleep, woke up this morning, like I said, slept in pretty late, and I still just felt so tired, and like my brain felt tired, so I don't know what that was about. But yeah, set this down because I was like, I'm not mentally capable of reading that right now. Then I picked up Queen of Nothing, and I actually was listening to the audiobook while reading along this morning because they have the audiobook available on Spotify. I almost said Spotify Unlimited, like Kindle Unlimited. It's not Spotify Unlimited, it's just like part of Spotify Premium. So I listened to the audiobook for a little bit, and then I ran out of hours and I kept reading. I made it to chapter 6, so I'm like 59 pages into this. This series is just so good. This is the third book in the Cruel Prince trilogy. I think I talked about this a little bit last night about how I was thinking about starting it. I woke up, and after setting that book down, I was like, I honestly just really want to read a fantasy. So picked her up, thoroughly enjoying myself. This is just like such a good series. Like I said, it's so easy to get into, and it's like so fast paced, and you genuinely never know what's gonna happen next. I love it. It's like so magical. I have been reading this morning, and then I ended up getting distracted for about an hour because I was laying in my bed, and as we've talked about multiple times in this video, I have no furniture in my room yet, and it's kind of starting to drive me crazy because we've been living here for about, well, okay, I guess it hasn't been that long. Maybe I'm just being dramatic. We've been here for like 2 months, and I am the type of person that whenever I go to decorate, like I want to be able to do everything all at once. So we're kind of just like saving up until we can get everything all at once, and then just do a week where we like put all the furniture together and decorate and like do all of that stuff. But everything is so expensive, and there's so much that we need because when we moved, none of our furniture would fit in any of these rooms, so we kind of are starting over. So anyway, there's just like a lot that needs to get done, and I like making lists, and so I immediately got distracted and I made an entire list of things that I think that I want for certain places, whether it's in the kids' room or in our room or in our bathroom or whatever. This is so random and irrelevant to the 24-hour reading challenge, but that's just like what I did this morning. I woke up, tried to read this, read a little bit of this, then I did in fact waste an entire hour. I mean, it wasn't wasted because I feels good to like have that list done, but also like that's not what I should have been doing with my time. So like, you know, so anyway, I guess get excited to see that in the future, probably in like December or January. I'm hoping I'll be able to, I don't know, December's gonna be so busy because I decided that I'm going to do Bookmas this year. So I have in fact started planning 2 months early for Bookmas. Anyway, this is so random. This doesn't show you like where my brain is at mentally right now. I don't know what will. I feel so scatterbrained, and so listening to the audiobook and reading along was really helping me, but then I ran out of hours. I swear sometimes reading with ADHD is like I'm looking at the words, but in my head I'm like, oh, and what about this? Oh, and that reminds me of this. Ooh, did you make sure to do this? Ooh, did you? All while I'm trying to like focus on the words, or I'll think that I'm actually paying attention and I will be like daydreaming, and then when I come back to, I realize like, oh, I was actually just daydreaming about these sheets that I really want, and I don't actually know what this entire page just said. Like I read the words, but I didn't comprehend the words. Sometimes having ADHD directly conflicts with having a hobby like reading, and that's okay. I love seeing people comment on my videos saying that they also have ADHD, and like I encourage them to be a reader, because even even though it is hard sometimes, like I still just love reading. This last like week or something, I don't know what has been going on, but I have just been like having a difficulty paying attention. So I have been reading along with audiobooks quite a bit because it's just really helping me keep my attention. Anyway, I have 8 hours and 53 minutes left on the timer. I will honestly be happy if I can finish Queen of Nothing today. I will be so surprised if this is not a 5-star because like I said, the other 2 books in this series have both been 5 stars. I'm really enjoying this story already. It's so crazy because at the end of each book, it's like I think I know where the next book is gonna go and then it just doesn't, and I'm like so shocked, but I love where it goes, and that's exactly what's happening in this one as well. I really love Holly Black's writing so much. I cannot wait to read some of her other books. I just really enjoy her writing and I love this story. I like can't wait until my kids are old enough so I can be like, hey, this is really good, you should read it. I think that's everything I had to say. I don't really know. I'm gonna go take my vitamins, drink some water, have some breakfast. I will update you guys. It's 11:58. Maybe I'll update you guys at like 2:30 or 3 and we'll see how we're doing. Because I think I'm only gonna read until like 5 o'clock today, and then I'm going to get the house and myself ready to have people over for Mark's little birthday celebration. So I will see you guys in a few hours. Hey, it's me. It's been quite literally about 5 seconds since I last talked to you. I went on my Audible and I saw that I had 2 credits, so I decided to just get Queen of Nothing on Audible because I swear as soon as I turned the camera off, I already got distracted. So I'm just accepting that I am having trouble focusing and I will have an easier time enjoying this book if I have a read along. So looking at this positively, that's what we're gonna do. I downloaded the audiobook. I'm just going to sit in bed and relax and read my little bookie book with Miss Girl here. So that was all. Just had to update you guys. One sec. It's 11 p.m. I've entered crackhead hour, so if I'm all over the place, that's why. It's the next day. Today was Marky's birthday, so I didn't record or do anything like that today because I wanted to take the whole day to just be with Marky and celebrate him. We were out doing birthday stuff all day. I never updated the vlog yesterday. I finished Queen of Nothing, but my attention span was completely off the rails yesterday. I think it's just because I started hyperfixating on like my room and decorations for the room and all that stuff. And like whenever you start hyperfixating on something, it's like I could, like, you can't think about or do anything other than like what you're hyperfixating on, if that makes sense. So I'm so glad that I was able to get the audiobook and like read along with the audiobook, because the audiobook really helped keep my attention on the book, because genuinely my mind just kept wandering to like blankets and pillows and wall art and bookish, you know, whatever, because I was like, I just want to like look at all the things, because it was giving me so much dopamine to like make a little list of all the things that I want to put in my room. So thank God for audiobooks. Stop laughing at me. Mark's in the kitchen. I feel so weird talking in front of him. You'd think because we're married it would be normal, but no, he like enters the room and I stop talking because I'm like shy, you know. Anyway, I technically still have 3 hours and 9 minutes on the timer, but I am in fact going to call it quits for this 24 hours. And I'm going to talk about really quickly 3 books that we did finish in this 24 hours. You want to come say hi? It's your birthday. Here comes the bride. Hey, woo! Everyone say happy birthday. Woo! We finished The Wingman. This was obviously a 5-star read for me. If you have not read this series, I highly recommend it. Like I said, it's just like a really fun series. But if you just want to have a great time and you like spice and you like genuinely funny books where the guy falls first and is head over heels and just like ultimate golden retriever men and then like hockey romance, definitely read this series. The next sports romance series I want to start, I think, is the Caught Up or the Mile High. What is that called? By Liz Tomford. I don't know what the series is called, but like it's another sports romance series. I actually ordered a special edition for, I think it's called Caught Up. Now I feel guilty because I need to actually read the book. So that's the next sports series I want to start. The next book that we read is Throne of Glass. This again, I rated a 4.5. This was super close to being a 5-star, but again, I think I said all of this too. I think the reason that it wasn't a 5-star was just because it felt like a setup book. And I feel like, I think I did say all of this, but I feel like in the future this might raise to a 5 depending on how the next few books go, because I feel like something that Sarah J Maas does is she like sets up a lot of little Easter eggs in like the first few books, and then the further that you get, you like think back on things that have already happened and you're like, that's what that was. With A Court of Thorns and Roses, I think I originally rated that one 4.75 or 4.5, but then I read A Court of Mist and Fury and I was like, my mind is blown, and it instantly made A Court of Thorns and Roses a 5-star as well, and then A Court of Mist and Fury is like 6-star book, 4.5 stars. Honestly, like between a 4.5 and a 4.7. It was really good. It was really fast paced. I loved the storyline. The way that the trials were set up were honestly a lot different than I was expecting. It kind of reminds me of like the war games that happened in Iron Flame. Just the way that it was like structured was kind of more similar to that if you've read Iron Flame. I was thinking it was going to be games more like the Hunger Games maybe, or even like in Powerless, something like that, but very interesting. I'm very interested to see where the next book goes to, because it wasn't necessarily a cliffhanger, but it ends with possibilities for what could happen next. Lastly, I did finish Queen of Nothing. This is the last book in the Cruel Prince trilogy. 5 stars. It was so good. This was such a good conclusion to the trilogy. And can we talk about every single book in this trilogy has been 5 stars for me now. That's kind of crazy. So I think it's safe to say I have a new favorite series to add to my like favorite series list, because it was just so good. I genuinely have no complaints for this whole series. I love Holly Black's writing. I cannot wait to read more of her books. I actually have the next little novella that comes after this one out here with me, because I'm gonna sit and do some reading while we relax for a little bit. I mean, it's already 11, so I probably won't even read that much, but I do want to start it because this series is just so good. Like, I have just no complaints. If you have not read this series, I highly recommend it. It's like, one, easy to get into, but like has such a deep story without it feeling like deep and confusing, if that makes sense. Like, you get so much from it with like what feels like so little reading effort. You know, there's some books that like you read and it takes mental effort, but like this, it feels like it takes no mental effort. The way that she describes the world, it makes it so easy to take in and understand. The characters have so much growth and depth throughout the series, to where like when you get to this book, I just had chills at so many different moments, because I'm like, wow, like these characters have gone through so much, and like if them from the first books could see where they ended up, it would just be crazy. So I don't know, so good. Every single one of these books was 5 stars for me. I can't wait, like I said, to read this one and then move on to the little duology that comes after this series that I think follows one of the characters from this series. I need to like look into it and go and get the copies so I can read it. I cannot recommend this series enough. I think I've said it before too. If you are a beginner to fantasy especially, I highly recommend this series, because I feel like, especially if you are a beginner, this would be such a great step into like the fantasy genre, because it is YA, and so like it's just so easy to get into and understand, and like so quick to get through. I feel like the books are not very long at all. Every time I read it, I'm like surprised that it's over already, because so much happens, but it goes by so fast, you know? Highly recommend this series, especially if you are a beginner in the genre and you don't know where to start, or you're intimidated by some of the longer series like ACOTAR and Throne of Glass, Fourth Wing, that everyone recommends, but they're like honestly a lot longer and thicker books. This is like a great place to start. I highly recommend this series. It was so good. Honestly, when I finished this book, it made me want to go back and like reread or like re-listen to the first 2 books again, just so I could like be in the world again and listen to the first 2 stories now that I know what is gonna happen in the end. And especially because the way that they live in the world of fairy, the fairies for some reason can't tell lies, but because Jude is human, she can tell lies. And so the way that things are worded is such a big part of this story. Like from the first book on, there's always like riddles and plays on words. So I really want to like go back and like re-listen to or reread the first couple stories and see if there's just like little things like that I missed that I would be able to like connect the dots with now that I have gotten through the series. But 5 amazing glowing bright stars for this beauty right here, and for the entire series as a whole. I'm gonna pick this one up and start getting through it just slowly. I really just want to like slowly read this one and enjoy it, because it has all those like illustrations and stuff through it. I feel like it's just gonna be such a cozy and honestly cool book to read, because it has all the illustrations, and I just want to like read it slowly and enjoy it. That is it for today's vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Honestly, this was so much fun. I definitely want to do more videos like this in the future, whether it's how many 5 stars can I read in 24 hours, or maybe next time I'll do it like how many 5 stars can I read over a week, and we can do it like every other. If you enjoyed today's video and you are not already, please make sure to subscribe. Also, before you go, don't forget to click the link down in my description box to check out Skillshare. Only the first 500 people to click that link will get a free trial of Skillshare, so don't wait, go and click the link and try it out for yourself. I really feel like they have something for everybody, so go and check it out. That is all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Bye.